Hello out there, sim racing enthusiasts and those with nothing better to do. So, with the imminent arrival of my Podium DD2 from Fanatec, I figured it would be nice to do a little bit of a going away party for my T300 from Thrustmaster. So it's bittersweet. This base has served me very, very well. For a long, long time, I was using Logitech equipment. Started off with the Logitech GT Force that came with Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec back in the PS2 days, many, many moons ago now. And then followed the upgrade path as as better wheels became available for Gran Turismo. So from there I went to a Driving Force Pro, and I remember using that not only on my console but on PC, playing classic sim racing games like GT Legends, GTR 1 and 2, GT Legends, Live for Speed. It was a fantastic wheel, one of the first wheels with 900 degrees of rotation, and sort of my introduction to force feedback wheels. And then when they announced the G25, I remember how excited I was about that. It was a proper hardcore sim racing enthusiast wheel. It had leather stitching and a metal frame. Had the H pattern shifter, which you could switch back and forth to sequential and an H pattern. Most importantly, it was the first wheel I owned which had a clutch, so it could do proper big boy sim racing at that point. And that bad boy lasted me 13 years. And it was what got me back into in sim racing in a big way when Dirt Rally 2 came out. Using that wheel it's what Dirt Rally is what killed it. And so I had to think, well, what was I going to replace it with? Was I just going to buy another G series wheel and just stick with what I had, or did I want to move up in the world? And so I made the decision, no, time to look at what else is out there. And so I bought a T300 with the Ferrari Alcantara wheel. And so this was the first wheel that came with my T300. It came with the T3PA pedals. And not long after receiving that, I went out and bought the TH8A shifter. And it's what I've been using for quite some time now. And it's been a hell of a wheel. The wheelbase itself, the only real knock I can have against it is it does tend to overheat when it's pushed for long periods of time, and so you do get a bit of weakening in force. But that might be after hours and hours and hours of Assetto Corsa, after hours and hours and hours of Dirt Rally 2, or because WRC 8 and 9 aren't very well programmed, after about 40 minutes of WRC. But either way, this was the first wheel I had, and being a D-shaped wheel, it's kind of hard to see in the low contrast there, but being a D-shaped wheel wasn't perfect for rally, but did the job. Has the sequential shifters on the back. Unfortunately, this one here is a little sticky, but still fine. But just, it was always a little bit of a niggle there. Got your button box, so 2 buttons there, 2 buttons there, 2 there, and a little twisty dial there, which can be pushed in, and the infamous Alcantara trim. And so it's what led me down that rabbit hole of becoming one of those people who sim races with gloves on. Haven't bought proper racing gloves though, just the little basic leather ones you see in my videos. So used this guy for a long, long time, and it was a darn good wheelbase. Thing that impressed me straight away with the T300 is how much more realistic the belt force feedback felt compared to the G25. The G25 was the first of its range, so it was the sort of most primitive. Only had about 2 newton meters of force. Had the gear force feedback, so it was quite notchy as well. And noisy as all heck. Going from lock to lock was very, very loud. But yeah, the T300, really great feedback. Twice as much power. It's able to give you tension at top dead center, so it didn't feel dead the way the Logitech series wheels did, and has been a very faithful steering wheel, very, very faithful sim racing wheelbase for some time now. Be approaching 2 years, I think. But one of the things that I especially love about the T300 is it's your introduction to removable wheels. And so the next wheel I got. The next wheel I got was the Sparco R383 33mm or 33 centimeter wheelbase, 330mm, and model on the proper Sparco R330 wheel. Slightly better button box. So instead of the D-pad that it had here on the Ferrari, you've got the little hat switch here, which you can click in as well. These slightly weird buttons. They don't depress more than about a millimeter, but feel alright anyway. Nothing twisty on there, but for rally, had really nice positive action on these shifters, not sticky at all. They're not magnetic, but they are adjustable. So as you can see there, you can move them in or out if need be. And this is what by far has spent the most time on my T300 wheelbase. Awesome wheel. This is the thing I'm probably going to have the most sadness about losing when I switch to my Podium DD2. Eventually I'll probably buy the R330 with the universal hub, or I'll get the universal hub and stick something on there. But this was the wheel that has led to one of my most watched videos. That stupid unboxing I did for this and the handbrake. But fond memories of this particular wheel, mated with this base. Now, obviously, being so big and so heavy, it muted the feedback a little bit, and it has got it's not Alcantara, but suede, very similar to Alcantara. But I've been using gloves on this one since I got it, and it hasn't really affected it. Like, it looks good as new, and so it'll be good news for whoever ends up buying my T300 setup. They'll be getting a wheel that's in very, very good nick for a pretty reasonable price. So, but yeah, this was my my trusty weapon for carving up Dirt Rally 2. And so it's sad to be retiring this guy. And then towards the end, as I started to get into Assetto Corsa Competizione, added one more knife to the block, and that was the good old Ferrari F1 Wheel. I haven't played a single F1 game with this thing on this base, just not an F1 fan, but for playing GT, surprisingly good wheel. Now, obviously much maligned for having fake encoders here. These are all just, like, you can probably see them in relief there, they're just embossed into the metal. They don't actually turn, so everything in this cluster is fake. But all these buttons down here are the real deal. Okay, and they got pretty good firm action. 8-way switch there. These are 2-way switches, and another 8-way directional switch. Buttons here, button there, and 2 thumb encoders here. So just perfect for your ABS and traction control and setting your brake bias. And one very cool feature on this one, it's not a magnetic shifter, but it's a 2-way, so you can shift up and down with either pedal. And You know, this was at $400, probably not a wheel I'd recommend, but given these days can be had for less than $300, it's actually fantastic for playing Assetto Corsa. Feels good in the hands. It's not too, like, the weight's pretty reasonable, and being a fairly short radius, you know, it delivers really good force feedback. And, you know, for shunting the McLaren around in Assetto Corsa Competizione, been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant wheel. And so it's, yeah, bittersweet. Here's my guest reviewer, Tycho. How do you feel about steering wheel? He's purring, so he obviously likes it very much too. But yeah, it's bittersweet. T300's been a fantastic wheelbase for me. I've had a fantastic time rediscovering my love of sim racing with it, and yeah, parting with it will be a bit of a shame. Part of me wants to hang on to it as a backup wheel or something to use with the PlayStation for Gran Turismo 7. But you know, kind of need to subsidize the DD collection, the Fanatec collection. Only getting the one wheel for now with the Fanatec, so anything that can help subsidize the new collection would be great. But you know, it's a shame that the new market for steering wheels is kind of hostile to this wheelbase. You know, the CSL DD plus the McLaren GT3 wheel or the WRC wheel plus the CSL pedals is just a phenomenal bundle for the same sort of money that you would pay for the T300. You know, for your $700 or $800, it's well and truly going to be outclassed in its category now. And so I hope Thrustmaster has some cards to play. You know, it deserves to stay in the market. It's much better than the G series, and if Thrustmaster can bring the price down to compete with the G29, there'll be some very happy sim racing enthusiasts, beginner level enthusiasts out there, because they'll be getting a hell of a lot of wheel, and having that option to switch, you know, proper modular wheel is fantastic. It adds to your immersion so much, especially in VR. And yeah, I figured before all the excitement of installing the new wheelbase comes in, it'd be nice to record a little something, put in my last sort of few laps on this bad boy, just to sort of had a bit of racing earlier today, just to say goodbye to it. And yeah, next video I record, I'll be unboxing and installing a Podium DD2. Not something I thought would happen anytime soon, but luckily circumstances have aligned, and you know, it's one of those things, you do it once and do it right. So big things ahead. And yeah, thank you for watching this, and I hope you'll join me on the next stage of my my sim racing adventures. You know, if you're another T300 user, please feel free to post in the comments your thoughts and reflections about the T300. Yeah, I really don't hope. I hope the CSLDD isn't the death knell for this. I hope Thrustmaster are able to bring the price down and get it to a wider audience, because if any product kind of needs a bit of a kick in the ass, it's the G29. That thing's positively ancient now and just outclassed. And so if the T300 can become the new entry point, and then the CSLDD becomes the new enthusiast mid-range or low-range wheel, then it'll be a hell of a market. You know, everyone will be quite happy. And obviously Thrustmaster have something in the pipeline for later this year too, which according to them, they're, you know, it'll have the technology options that everyone wants, which if it's not DD, then who knows what they're doing. But anyway, just thought I'd whack this little quick video together. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time for a big upgrade.